It's 4 o'clock in the morning and we're awaiting the delivery of tables and chairs for the 5,000 people who are going to take part in the world's largest street party. The staff of Weymouth and Portland's Leisure, Entertainments and Tourism Department have spent months organising the VE Day 50th anniversary celebrations and commemorations. When it became clear the tables and chairs for the street party weren't coming, it was a devastating blow. But what might have been a disaster turned into a triumph. It was the spirit of Dunkirk all over again.
This really is an emergency. We really are desperate.
I wonder if you could have a bus. We're short of tables for the street party. I wonder if you
what about Weymouth itself? I mean, you must have a canteen with like lots of tables and chairs in there.
We're desperately looking for tables and chairs, and he said we might be able to perhaps borrow some from the Scout Hut in Preston.
Well, we were expecting 5,000 chairs and tables at 4 o'clock this morning. We checked yesterday. Apparently the truck hasn't arrived from Leeds. The owner of the company doesn't know where it is. At the moment we've got a massive call out all over the county on all the radio stations, and everybody's helped us with trucks, tables and chairs. It looks as though we'll be about 30 minutes late.
So how do you feel about this?
It's rather annoying what happened to start with, but the response of the community has just been absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
How much do you need? How much do we need? Much?
So how do you feel about having to wait for your chairs?
I don't mind a bit, it's fun. It's better than having bombs dropping all around us. And believe you me, it is.
So can you remember 50 years ago?
Oh, God, hi, I'm 77.
It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly, farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart lies there.
For many people, it was a time to wander down memory lane.
Oh, wonderful memories. It was sad. My father was killed in the early part of the war, so obviously it was sad for me. But when I got older, about 15, I could go to dances, and I enjoyed it, and I used to like singing, dancing.
On VE Day, we were actually sailing from Weymouth here to Guernsey. And we got there, and because I looked up people then, the lads I'd trained, I looked up their parents, and I was over there for about, what was over there, VE Day till September the 25th, and then when we came home. Then I stayed in and I had to wait for BD Mob then. When I got finished, I'd done 6.5 years of war. I'd had enough. I wanted to get out.
I think that Weymouth and Portland was very much at the centre of everything that happened during the war. I think for a start they were a target for air raids, being near the south coast, and Cherbourg just being 45 minutes away. And I think that later on they were overrun by 500,000 American Army 1st Division that left from Weymouth and Portland to go to Omaha Beach.
Was it badly bombed in the war?
Yes, very much so in the early part of the war. Portland Naval Base, obviously, and the Chapelhay area of Weymouth was particularly hit because of the proximity to the harbour.
Like your face, smile was at this time. Once you stop worrying, it never was worthwhile. So, up the trouble to your own, get back and smile, smile, smile.
Jack! Where's your Jack?
You've heard of the Mexican wave. Stand by for the Weymouth Victory Wave.
It's like a sea of humans flying towards me. It's absolutely brilliant.
I'm here for the same reason everybody else is. A great opportunity for Weymouth to show itself off. Great opportunity to welcome the fact we've had 50 years of peace and to see all the benefits that brings. And we never need an excuse for a party in Weymouth, but it's nice to have one anyway.
And what about you, Hazel? Why are you here today?
I'm here with my guides and brownies from Preston. and to enjoy the celebrations and commemorations today.
And what about the youngsters? Do they know what it's all about? Do they really understand?
I don't know if they understand completely, but they're certainly enjoying it and getting the atmosphere as of 50 years ago today.
Don't you look at that camera, you'll break it.
Well, she was the first English girl I'd spoken to, and, well, obviously something clicked.
And you've been married for how many years?
51 years on the 16th of this month. We had our golden wedding last year.
And there was another happy product of this union, I believe.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Our daughter Virginia, yes.
Virginia. Okay. So is this a happy day for you?
It is very, yes. Yes, it's a lovely atmosphere, wonderful.
Fort was built in 1872 as one of 90 defensive forts along the south coast. Now a museum of coastal defence, it wasn't half optimum at the Noath Fort concert party.
What are we going to do? We'll meet again. We'll meet again, right? We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Everybody join that, come on. Keep smiling through, just like you always do. Like the farmhouse far away. Oh, would you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, while I'm singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Bit louder. Smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies drive those dark clouds far away. Won't you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Thank you. Thank you very much. Once again, it's Jim Taylor and Peter Price signing off here at the wonderful Noath Fort in sunny Weymouth.
From his dressing room at Weymouth Pavilion Theatre, one of Britain's best-loved entertainers remembers how important music was in the war years.
I think music was most important. And not only that, they're milestones. You know, people come along and they recognise tunes much quicker than they do bullets.
Remind us of some of the old favourites.
Well, strange enough, I didn't ever go for those. It was the civilians that sang "We'll Meet Again" and all those sort of songs that have now stood the test of time. But I was still singing the song. You see, in those days, a hit song would last anything up to 6 months or a year in the hit parade. It's only nowadays they start, you know, they go into the hit parade, they're in there for 3 weeks or 3 days, sometimes 3 hours, you know, but in those days they were around for a long, long time. And you couldn't go wrong if you sang songs that were made popular by the big singers of the day. I'm thinking of people like Donald Pierce or Al Bowley or any of those, you know, any of the good singers that were with the bands. Usually the band singers were the most popular, like with Henry Hall. Or, you wouldn't remember those, you're too little. So it makes it that I've been married 50 years to the same wife that I married then. Blossom, yeah. Now it's been peacetime for 50 years, isn't it? And last week we paid the 50th instalment on our washing machine.
50 years after one German bombing campaign, an unexploded bomb was discovered on a former football pitch on Portland. The modern hero who defused that bomb this year joined the celebrations as an honoured guest.
I've been invited down by the people of Weymouth and Portland to join in the street party, and later on to go to up to Portland to go to church, read a reading, and then have a few beers, hopefully.
So what do you think about the celebrations here?
Well, I think it's excellent. It's nice to see that, you know, the public can get together and do this. You know, they showed it on April the 1st, April Fool's Day, and they're showing it again now. You know, it's really good. Good day for it.
The people of Portland organised plenty of events and activities to celebrate the 50th anniversary of VE Day. Some could remember VE Day as if it were yesterday.
Everybody went mad. People were bringing out tables and chairs, and I mean, everybody had hoarded a little bit of food, not a lot, but everything was rationed, of course. And so there were sort of loaves of bread coming out here, and sugar that was absolutely solid because it had been stored, and butter that was hard, and everybody brought what they had. And the children had a fantastic time in the afternoon because they'd never seen it. They made jellies from just gelatine and put colouring in and things like that. So the families, you know, the mums really did wonderfully well. And then in the evening, we were all in Easton Square. And you just had to go where the crowd went because you couldn't move off in your own direction. You had to go. My husband who was my boyfriend then, of course, was one side of the square and I was the other, and we didn't meet till about 11 o'clock at night. And the rector had been called up, and the chap who came to take his place, Sir Reverend Phillips, stayed with my husband's parents. And so he woke him up and got the keys of the church and went in and rang the bell. And of course that was supposed to be a signal for problems, you know, the invasion or anything else like that. And everybody, they just chanted and laughed and they were dancing and singing. And I've never ever felt so elated in my life, never since. I think everybody was so relieved. Everybody put the lights on everywhere and threw the blackouts away, and we had bonfires. Everybody went mad, you know. So that was my VE Day. It was absolutely wonderful, and it's just as vivid now.
Yes, that's right. You just eat like that. Yeah. Like this one there.
Weymouth was the largest single embarkation point for the American forces, and many Americans took part in the celebrations and commemorations.
We brought a plaque today to give to the citizens of Portland and Weymouth who opened their hearts and their homes to the GI soldiers from America as they assembled here to stage for D-Day. And we thought it would be a fine idea to thank them in some special way for all of that genuine friendliness that they gave our soldiers at that critical time in both of our history.
This is a safety announcement.
As night fell, there was dancing to the Glenn Miller UK Orchestra at the Pavilion Ocean Room. The United States Air Forces in Europe gave a spectacular free concert to an audience of thousands on Weymouth Beach, the assembly point for so many servicemen 50 years ago. The backdrop of Weymouth Bay provided the perfect setting for the concert and a fitting finale to the VE 50 celebrations and commemorations.
I shall remember it as once again a gathering of the people who fought in World War II. It's been a splendid weekend.
One of the greatest architects of victory, Sir Winston Churchill, said, "In war, resolution, in defeat, defiance, in victory, magnanimity, in peace, goodwill." The last of these is predominant in our minds today. 50 years on, those of us who survived the war and those of us who are too young to remember join together in giving praise to God for what was achieved half a century ago. No one can take that away from us. There was blood and suffering, but there was glory too. This is now history. As a result, Europe has had the matchless blessings of peace for 50 years. So our first motive for coming here today is one of thanksgiving. Devoutly and sincerely, we must give thanks to God for what was achieved. It ill behoves us simply to look backwards. We must look forward for peace on earth for all people. Our proclamation today is that we have a message of reconciliation for the whole world. Swords can be beaten into plowshares and spears into pruning hooks, and the worst of enemies can become the firmest friends. That is the situation as we see it in many parts of the world, and in Europe in particular.